chance to develop myself, I must.
Hi Dipankar, how are you?
Hello, Harsh sir. I'm good. How are you?
Recording.
Yeah, thanks for being available for this conversation. I just wanted to have some discussion around Captain JB Singh, who unfortunately passed away last week. And I saw a lot of comments and posts on social media, especially WhatsApp, different WhatsApp groups where people shared about him. But at the same time, I also realized maybe not a lot of people know him. And even within the DRACEA community. And for us, people who have spent time with him, at Chanakya between a certain period. I think he joined Chanakya in 2002 when we had just no, sorry, not 2002, 2005, when we just entered our third year and you entered in first year. And then he was there for the next 3 or 4 years and he touched several hundred lives in very meaningful ways. So we understand the importance of JB Singh, but I think the rest of the world should know it. So the purpose of this conversation is just to remember some old memories, and I have some recordings that recordings with him of him talking about his own life and journey, and I will add that towards the end of this video. And I intend to publish it on YouTube so that it just stays there forever and we can remember JB Singh. So let's start with, like, what are your initial few memories of Captain JB Singh, how you met him for the first time and how you interacted with him for the rest of your life.
I don't quite recollect like the first memories themselves. For me, like I would want to remember JB Singh mostly from a viewpoint of what he stood for, right? Like all of us went into this college with a very direct aim of getting to a placement and making friends and all of that. And in all of that, I think quickly we realized that this is not a typical college where there are instructors and there are like officers in on the campus, which was very different from a typical um teacher-student relationship. I think
Right.
JB Singh for me was one of the probably the only faculty member in Chanakya who actually really deeply cared about the people as his own. Like that was one thing that distinguishes Juddi, as we used to call him, JB Singh, from all other folks who were there. Right, there were many good teachers. There were people who were very strict disciplinarian. There were people who were scary and all sorts of instructors and teachers and officers. But one thing that stood JB Singh out from all of them was just the deep care he had. I've never seen anyone in my life who values his alma mater, folks from that alma mater 40, 50 years after someone graduates with that much of warmth. So that for me, like I think that is one thing that keeps JB Singh far above the rest, and just distinguishes him from everyone else, right? So that is one thing that I just can't. And when I heard this news, that was the first thing that flashed my mind, that Chanakya and Dufferin and Rajendra has probably lost its biggest cheerleader, so to say.
Yeah, yeah. So my earliest memories, I think there were three ex-Dufferin captains who joined Chanakya and kind of devoted their life like full time to training of cadets. The first to come, and I'm talking about the period when I was on campus, of course. There have been many in the past, but during those years, Captain A.K. Dheer, who came sometime around 2004, and then followed by Captain J.B. Singh and Captain Rodrigues. So Captain Dheer also definitely impacted a lot of lives in very meaningful ways. He was also someone who had a very peculiar leadership style. He taught a lot of things to us about quality management and leadership. And then Captain Rodrigues was a different case altogether. But Captain JB Singh, he finally came when we were just starting our third year, and he started teaching us management courses in third year, but more than what he taught in the classroom. As you said, it was his ability to genuinely connect with the cadets and care about them and take responsibility for their training. That's something which was special about him. And I remember from the early days when he joined and when he used to be an officer on duty, OOD, those nights he probably didn't sleep at all. Very similar to what happens when you are a captain on board a ship and you are in a port. you hardly get time to sleep like captain or mate or even a cadet for that matter. So very similar to that. When he was an OD, people used to see him taking rounds on campus at like around midnight, and then someone will see him in the foxhole at like 2 a.m. And like cadets, third year especially, we used to be awake most of the night. So someone will spot him. Oh, he was in the hostel at like foxhole in like 2 a.m. And then someone will see him running in the morning before fall-ins. So that will be like 5:30 in the AM. He is like running, and he was already 60 plus back then, when he came to Chanakya. And then, of course, he will be there at the fall-in. So he really immersed himself into that whole uh, training of cadets and campus life. And there were a lot of cases of like indisciplinary acts that used to happen between cadets, like be it fight or whatever. Sometimes, if you recall what happened in Karave when I was in third year, and there was a fight that broke between the Karave villagers and some of the cadets. He actually went all the way down, did a really good investigation. Like he went to Karave village. He spoke with all the people who were involved. The guy who owned the restaurant, and he used to go deep down into each of those events. And then he made sure that none of the cadets actually suffer a lot with this. Of course, he was very good with discipline, and he used to give a lot of punishments in the sense that, yeah, if you are found doing something wrong, he was not a soft guy at all. But at the same time, he was very strict, very tough, but also everyone still loved him because the way he showed care. Those are my some of the first memories. And then, of course, I graduated and I left. I had only 1 year with him on campus, but then I stayed in touch with him till like the very last years of his life. So how was your can you just recall some of the interesting stories that happened with you, when, because you spent the whole 3 years with Captain JB Singh, and I recall that he was overall in charge of the campus, like he was the acting CS for when you were in third year, right?
Yeah, like as you were talking about it, right? Like many things flashed my mind. So like one of them was, of course, Chanakya was known, famous for a lot of indisciplinary stuff that people cadets used to do while they were in campus. And like one of those things I remember like broke out when we were in, I think, second year, and there was a like big fight that broke between one of the kind of like ingresses in Chanakya through IGNU, and then we used to come through IIT. So there was like a big fight, and I was unfortunately at the center of it. And like every time, like Captain Rodriguez was again at the center of things when fight happens. So like we came head to head in that way, and he was like very adamant in. So while the fights happened and a lot of things happened, the entire college in a way got involved. A lot of people got punishment. And then Captain Rodriguez wanted to kind of make an example of that fight. So he was then there's something called disco. I don't know if it used to happen in your time or not. Like this disciplinary committee kind of was established, and there were pretty senior folks, um, the instructors and the teachers got together, formed a disco. Like hundreds of folks were interviewed, like a CBI investigation. And Captain Rodriguez was kind of very sure in his mind that he wanted a few people rusticated, and I was one of them for the for this incident, and make an example of someone, because I think in his mind a lot of this was going out of hand. So I was, of course, at the heart and center of it. But I came to know that Captain JB Singh was so adamant and so insistent on not taking it that far. While I did get a lot of punishment, I was, I think, given back time, and I was sent home for a month. I was expelled for a month or so. But he kind of, in a way, saved my career by not letting me getting rusticated. And Captain Rodriguez, if he had his mind on something, he would do everything to get that. He fought with Captain Rodriguez and helped. So like this is just an example of me, but I know countless such examples in Chanakya where there were people who, if Captain JB Singh wasn't around, their lives would have been very, very different. And by different, I mean like in a very negative way. They would have been impacted negatively. And he put his neck on the line on multiple cases to save them. And I was benefited from one such act of benevolence that he had.
I actually remember that incident because for some reason I was back on campus. I had already graduated by that time. Maybe I finished my cadetship, or I was between my ships, and I came back. to campus just to meet him, and I was kind of being apologetic about it, that okay, these my juniors that we kind of trained are doing things like this, and like some of like good juniors like you, of course. So maybe I was apologizing on your behalf, maybe now that I think about it. And Captain JB Singh was very cool about it actually, and he showed a lot of maturity which we didn't have back then. But then he said, "See, that's what he used to call me back then." And he said, "These are like young boys, and these are like empty containers and like bartan. If you keep them together, they will make some noise. They will make some sound. So it's expected out of these boys to fight and do things like this. So nothing special in this. So and you compare that with some of the other grown up old men who were on campus back then, and like people were literally kicking these 17-18-year-old kids who are completely helpless, and you know that they will not fight back no matter how hard you kick them. And they were like kicking, punching, and there were a few captains who used to do that. And contrast that with the kind of maturity that Captain JB Singh shows when things like that happen. And knowing, yeah, these are young boys, they're kids, they will do things like this. It's our job to train them and make an officer out of them. So
Yeah. Doesn't that remind you of like a strict father who isn't abusive, right? Like the power is not about what you do to people who are beneath you, but is to like how do you make that person maybe as powerful as you are, right? So like I sometimes think that he was probably acting as the godfather for 300 400 people who were there, of course disciplining them when the kids go errand, like you do discipline them, right? But you don't, a good father wouldn't wouldn't kick his son or the daughter,
exactly.
would,
Yeah.
would do the right thing so that the person understands,
Mhm.
but wouldn't do that thing. So probably like we never realized this back in the day, but I think he was probably the godfather of 350 people on campus the time he was around, doing whatever you would expect a good father to do, right? Nurture uh, the babies, nurture the kids, discipline them, show them the values, right values for life, make them a better human being. And I think that's what probably he did, like for the 3 years that we were around with him.
Absolutely. And even like after graduation, like I faced so many challenges in my career, and he was always there to help. Like I remember right after graduation, I got my US visa appointment. And back in those days, even like it's back to the same thing right now, it was very hard to get an appointment. There were several months of waiting time, and the company won't put you on board till you have a US visa. So I got my US visa appointment relatively quicker, and but I didn't have my CDC in hand. So the US consulate won't issue a C1D visa unless you have a CDC, of course. So I reached out to Captain JB Singh, and he just made one call, and I got my CDC the very same day. Like he just called up someone at MMD, and I don't know what he told them, but he asked me to go and meet this person at MMD or DG Shipping. I don't know which office was it, somewhere in Bombay. And I went there and I got my CDC the same day. And many years later, then when I was applying for my master's here at MIT, I needed some recommendation letters, and they recommended one of the letters should be from someone who has taught you in an academic environment or someone who has supervised you in an academic environment. And if it wasn't for Captain JB Singh, I just don't know who else I could have asked for that. I don't see anyone else, or probably maybe a few, maybe Captain Chandra or a few others I probably could have asked. But I'm so lucky that Captain JB Singh was there, and I asked him, and he wrote such a wonderful recommendation. Definitely played a role in me getting the admit.
Nice. Let's hurry it up a little bit. Let's maybe like, why don't you talk about maybe your fondest memory
Yeah.
of all time of JB Singh and you or anyone?
Actually, fondest memories, I really enjoyed meeting him after graduation and over the last 5 years, more so. Like last 5 years, whenever I was back in India, back in Mumbai, I used to make sure I go see him in person at his home. And going there, seeing him like getting old, getting weak, year after year, sometimes forgetting who I was. But after like maybe talking for 5 minutes, he would recall that, okay, this is you, Harsha, and like mixing cadets from different batches, from different like. So that was interesting. Every time I used to go meet him, it will be like several hours of conversation, and we talked about everything in life. And he gave a really good perspective about almost everything, not just maritime training. I mean, at this point, there was no maritime involved, but it was just conversation about life in general. And the one thing I will always take away from him, that make the best use of your life, and that was his motto when he came to Dufresne. That's what he said, that I didn't know what Dufresne was. I had no idea, but I just said that this is an opportunity that the God has given me, and I must make the best out of it. So whatever you have, whatever opportunities you have to just be happy and all the time and make the best out of it. So that's something I really take away from him.
Right. Yeah. My fondest memory probably would be like this is my third year. So this is the first time we were proposing that okay, we'll do like a cross like pan. We used to have this intra college event called Expressions, and we thought we'll take it outside Chanakya.
Yeah.
And of course, most of you would have thought about it. You know, for a government college, getting things done is always difficult. But again, JB Singh was the evangelist who kind of got this through. We were the workers working towards that, but like he was the force behind giving the vision, getting us connected to a lot of folks who gave us money and sponsorships, and clearing so many hurdles, stupid hurdles, so to say, like now if I recollect, with administration and management. And that event probably changed a lot in me. That was the first time I was able to do something that big in my life, and he was the architect of that. So again, I owe so much of my confidence in life and in doing new things to him. It was one, and that event kind of spawned for 2-3 months. So that 2-3 months we normally wouldn't work closely with a faculty member outside class hours and all that, but those 2-3 months we were working pretty closely on both funding and execution and relationships and stuff like that. So those 2-3 months were one of the best time I spent at Chanakya, both in terms of making relationships with someone and also delivering something that is one of the again high points of my life. So that is one of the fondest memory of me over the last like over those 2-3 months for the intra college Expressions.
Yeah, yeah. I remember again going back to campus around those days, and I remember you guys, third year cadets, sitting in his office, like that was your control room, or
Yeah.
taking expressions out of Chanakya and making it an inter-college event. I also remember one incident back then. I think it was placement were going on, and probably he was acting CS, so he was looking for more companies to join in. And when I entered his room, he was talking to someone on the phone, and there was some other guy who was working for some other ship management company who had the ability to recruit cadets. And probably the other person asked, like, why should I recruit cadets from Chanakya? And I heard Captain JB Singh saying, you recruit cadets because I'm asking you to. You just come. So, so he was like, yeah, because I'm telling you, you come and take 5 cadets. And I don't know what the other person said, but it was, yeah, kind of hilarious. That was his style of working and his style of talking, like very open. Are you in a rush? Like, can we extend it for another few minutes, or do
Yeah,
you want to
I can. No,
wrap it?
I'm liking it. I
Yeah.
can extend for a few more minutes.
There's one incident that happened that I think you told me once about Captain JB Singh. I was not there on campus, of course. I heard it from you. And maybe you can tell that story again, when there was like a lot of some controversy had happened on campus, and there were some press and news about it, and a lot of parents had come to the campus and asking questions to Captain JB Singh, and then he like pulled someone out of the quarter deck and tried to tell them that we are making these piece of shit, converting them into office, something like that. Can you recall that story?
I think this was probably in our first year where there was some case that happened, but I don't recollect it completely, Harsar, now. So maybe I wouldn't go there. Like I recollect parts of it, but I wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing justice. I will mix things up.
Okay.
But let's talk about some silly things, right?
Yeah.
Like he had a peculiar way of talking, right? I've never
Yeah.
like he had like if you just hear him talk, that's a smile comes on your face. Like it
Yes.
automatically comes, no matter if he's speaking like a very serious thing as well.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think he was ever like really serious or joking. It's very hard to tell. Like I don't think at that point in his life he was taking anything seriously. He was just having fun with like
Yeah,
various young cadets.
yeah. So what's the silliest memory? Like what would you remember him? Which is Of course, not the serious stuff. Like, what's a silly memory of him?
His sense of humor, I think he tried to be funny all the time.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded
Sometimes
like
it landed,
dad
sometimes
jokes.
it didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like typically what you call dad jokes, and because of that generation gap between him and us, maybe his jokes might be funny for
And the Punjabi dad joke.
his contemporaries. Yeah, exactly. So for last few years, after I came to the US and I graduated from MIT, my first job was in a grocery retail company. I was in the supply chain R&D team there. So since it was grocery, for some reason he started calling me, वो तो उधर सब्जी बेच रहा है उधर अमेरिका में. So, so whenever we used to, at times I was on call with him and I'm in the US, I will call him and then he say, कैसा चल रहा है तुम्हारा सब्जी बेचने का काम, सब्जी बेचने का. And then over the last few years, he had started calling me a cauliflower for some reason. And he used to find it very funny. Of course, not funny for me, but he will refer to me as a cauliflower. Or how is cauliflower doing? So like when Saurabh, for example, Saurabh was also very close to him and used to go and meet him very often. So he will ask, how is cauliflower doing? So yeah, his sense of humor was interesting.
My one of my recent memories is like we were in touch until very recently, and he used to keep track of what I was doing post Chanakya, so like MBA and all that. And when I went to Amazon, he started realizing that I was the Amazon call center for him.
Yes.
So I have his credit card number saved in my Amazon account. I have his home address saved. I have his like 3-4, like his wife, his kids, everyone's phone number in that account, because for every little thing that he wanted to get from Amazon, I think no matter how hard Amazon has tried to make it user friendly,
Yeah.
the most user friendly thing that was for him was to call me.
Yeah.
So he used to call me, and then like through the entire shopping journey,
Yeah.
he used to take me like, okay. And then even after that, like, my thing hasn't reached, talk to this guy, like he's installing this, but it does not look okay. I want to return this stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of offered him like a full stack Amazon experience from search to delivery.
Yeah.
And I at some point in time, I started dreading his calls because I would be in a meeting and I wouldn't be able to pick his call. And he, of course, didn't take no for an answer for anything. So he'll keep
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. All
Are we
right.
doing anything? Is the community doing anything to remember him?
I don't
Do you
think
know?
so. I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't see any such like there's no like whenever any, not just Captain JB Singh, but any other alumni gets old and dies, or even like there has been recent accidents where we lost someone from like probably 2014 pass out who was a chief mate on a gas tanker and he died. Like I don't see any structure built in the community, like DRACEA as an organization. There's no structure to support such events, and there's no one responsible for that. So anything that happens very organically. And again, I'm not like blaming anyone for that. If I really want it, I should probably just do it and take an initiative on that. But it just happens very organically. If anyone wants to do something, they do it. If nobody cares, nobody cares. Also, the community, there's, I don't know how DRACEA, we have this website draceaglobal.org, but I don't see anything posted there about Captain JB Singh or anyone else who recently passed away. So that's why I thought that at least we should do something. I don't know if the community in general, like I've seen messages from people who interacted with him in his SCI days. So he held many positions at SCI, all the way from cadet to captain, and then also working ashore for SCI. So a lot of people who interacted with him posted some messages, and there's a WhatsApp group, DRACEA Global, there. But other than that, I don't see anything happening.
Maybe we can start. Maybe we can start something. Like, I think one good way to remember him for years to come would probably be to just start like a Captain JB Singh scholarship in Chanakya, and like we can all pitch in. I can like I'm okay pitching in. If we can get like even like 3-4 people pitching in, we can, even if we sponsor one person who is in need. His or her, I don't know how costly education is in Chanakya anymore, but if that helps someone, probably that will be a good way.
That's a Brilliant idea. I don't know if you are aware, my batch, class of 2006, we have built in a process to give a prize of Shining Star Award every year to second year cadets. It's like 25,000 rupees cash award. So we have a process to go through that. We do a session with all the cadets in the beginning of semester, in the beginning of the academic year, and then they are supposed to write an essay and record a 1 minute video and submit the application. And our batch, we create a committee to go through those applications and select a winner. So
Yeah.
we have built that process. We can probably do something similar for like a Captain JB Singh Memorial Award or scholarship or something like that.
Yeah, like what would have loved, right? He probably would have loved someone from, like, there are a lot of underprivileged folks who want to come to Chanakya. Probably would have loved getting someone to choose this career.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he wouldn't, right? So
Yeah.
maybe something like that. If nothing, we can use just
Yeah.
hands. If everyone is okay, we can always, like, we can sponsor one person's education.
Yeah, I'm in for that. I think it's more, what you're recommending is more on the top of the funnel, like first year or
Yeah,
even before cadets apply.
even before, yeah,
They should know that this
some
scholarship
people,
exists.
may not be choosing it because they don't have the money. They maybe just
Yeah,
having one more person choose this career.
that's a great thought. Let's keep that idea alive and let's work on that. I
Yeah.
think we are hitting 30 minutes mark. Let's stop at this point. I'll add a 5 minute video that I recorded of Captain JB Singh
Yeah.
when I met him last in November of 2024. That was the last time I met him in person. I'll add it towards the end of this discussion, and let's stop there. Dipankar, thanks for your time, and then let's keep working on exploring that idea. I really like it.
Sure.
I'll give you one last opportunity to share anything else you want to share.
Well, thanks for initiating there, sir. If you wouldn't have done it, I probably wouldn't. So thanks for doing this.
At least this video stays there.
Yeah.
And everything that we discussed, and I wish people watch this video and add comments if they have any memory of Captain JB Singh, and those comments will live there forever. So we'll have some record.
Yeah.
All right. See you then. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Okay. I cleared higher secondary.
From where?
From the MB Higher Secondary School in
Hoshiarpur,
in New Delhi.
New Delhi. Okay.
New Delhi. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And that was when,
Then-
sir?
What?
That was when?
Which year?
58?
1956.
56, 56, okay.
Thereafter, and mine were the lowest marks in the examination. Lowest mark, 1, 3, 2, 5.
Okay.
So now what to do? There was no guidance for
So you were settled in Delhi only, your father was there?
my father was retired from railway.
Ah, okay.
So the problem, only thing in my brain was that time we were refugees from Pakistan. We had a refugee card. With that, you can appear for any UPSC exam without paying a fee,
Ah, okay.
right? And secondly, it was in my brain that this all India competition, whatever it may be, it has to be good, because it's Indian full competition. So I used to keep on appearing. Even I appeared for a typist. I cleared UPSC with 48 words per minute.
Wow.
Okay.
So ऐसा जो न्यूज़पेपर में आता था, स्पेशल एंट्री इंडियन नेवी, स्पेशल एंट्री अप्रेंटिसशिप, स्पेशल एंट्री दी, हम सबका फॉर्म भर के, जो मुफ्त में था, हमारी फीस नहीं लगती थी. And somebody, and while going into my school, for some reason I don't know what, I saw a small booklet page with a cadet standing and written TSW and entry at the head. ये भी ऑल इंडिया है, तो मैंने उसका ले लिया फॉर्म लिया. 10 रुपये का फॉर्म आया. तो I gave it to filled up and got the principal signature, this signature, that signature, doctor signature. So karate, my father is saying, what is this? I don't know. What is it? I don't know. Anyway, I filled it up and I sent. अच्छा रिटर्न टेस्ट था, रिटर्न टेस्ट पास हो गया, इंटरव्यू में फेल हो गया. नेक्स्ट डे आई ट्राइड अगेन, देन रिटर्न टेस्ट पास हो गया एंड इंटरव्यू में भी पास हो गया.
So they give you two. I mean,
Pardon?
you have to. You can give 2 times. Test
Because
two.
18 total age limit was 20 years, no?
Within age
So
limit, you
18
can keep
and
trying.
19.
Yeah.
Okay. Next year you tried.
हाँ.
Okay.
See, 20th of it used to be 10th of August you come to Bombay every year,
Mm-hmm.
right? 10th, 11th, 12th, 3 days is your interview and medical.
Have a seat.
Then
So interview for what? So selection was not final till that point?
no sir, you have appeared only for written.
Oh, so after interview they can still send you back
Yeah.
on 10th August.
They had to take 120 boys, double of what was required.
And then they will
So
take 60.
my time 3,000 boys appeared.
Okay.
On that top 120 boys are sent letter for medical and interview.
Okay.
There's nothing pass or fail. So after the interview on the 15th of August or 16th of August is your result. They will announce these boys are clear. मेडिकल में बहुत फेल होते हैं, आई साइट में बहुत फेल होते हैं. So that is how I got entry in the. If you ask me what was different, zero. I knew nothing. I knew it is an all India competition. It has to be good. What good? I don't know.
So how did Dufferin transform you over the next 2 years? Like did you
Sir,
change a lot?
because I
or-
came from